Join us now on the Diamond Factory Ticket Hotline is the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks. They get into action here not too long from right now. Mavericks in Detroit. It is Nico Harrison joining us right now. Hi, Nico. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Great to have you on the show, man. And
Thank you.
Let's just jump right into it. We're sitting here at the 20-game mark, and it's been a lot of stop and start. It was a nice win a couple nights ago against Golden State. What is your evaluation of kind of where you guys are right now, where you find yourself on the road?
You know what? We're not exactly where we want to be. We would have liked to have a few more wins, but I do think that we're not far off. We make a few more shots. A few of our shooters who just shoot, their average or just below their average, and we have those wins. So I'm not pushing the panic button. I think over the course of a season, guys who generally shoot the ball, they're going to shoot their average eventually.
Yeah, it's strange, especially knowing that we're only a couple of months removed from that incredible run that you guys had last year, and guys that were making shots left and right suddenly can't seem to hit the broadside of a barn. Are you more concerned about anybody individually? We've been talking about Reggie Bullock a lot, that he seems to completely have lost his form and confidence and everything, and he's starting to lose some minutes too. Does that name in particular stand out to you among the guys that have struggled?
Yeah, but the problem is it's been like three or four guys at the same time. But particularly Reggie, he's gonna eventually you miss shots, you're gonna lose a little confidence. That's gonna happen. But he's coming back late at night, he's getting more shots up. That it's gonna turn. I'm not worried about it. It's just when you're going through it, it's a little tough.
So that's interesting. I always wondered how much do guys in the front office believe in kind of regression to the mean, and it sounds like that's a big part of how you guys are attempting to steady yourselves right now. Is this will regress, and because it has to, it always does. Is that fair? You're kind of depending on just the simple mathematic probabilities of it all.
I am right now. That could change.
Yeah, and
but no, the thing is when you see the guy put the work in, and he can, like we've all seen him shoot. So and not even to pick on him, but just using him as an example, like it's gonna click. It's not like he forgets how to shoot. It's just natural for players. They lose a little confidence. They got to go back to the lab. They got to go back to the basics, and it's going to come one or two. They're going to see one or two go through, and then they snap out of it, and 3 or 4 games later, everybody forgets about it.
So Kemba is now a Maverick, and it's been pretty obvious from the jump that you guys were missing that element, a guy that could handle the ball, a guy that is not going to panic in certain situations and let a run happen from the other squad. It's been tough this year. And what do you see that Kemba brings to the table in trying to kind of stop the bleeding a little bit in that regard?
Yeah, everything you said. He's mature. He's an amazing person, so he's going to be a great addition to the locker room. He can handle the ball. He's an all-star. He's seen it all. He just knows how to play. So I think that kind of steadiness. And the other thing, he can make shots. Like he's a proven shot maker on and off the ball. So, being able to play with or without Luka. And the thing is that if you look at, we brought him in as like our, the next version of Campazzo, if you will. So I don't see him as a guy that we necessarily need to have him play 20 minutes a game. But he's a guy that when you need him, he can go out there and play at a high level.
So he's been rehabbing a knee. How close is he to being back on the court? How close is he to being at the fitness level he needs to contribute the number of minutes that you require from kind of the second ball handler on this club?
Well, if you ask him, he's ready tonight. but we're gonna ramp him up slow, and I would say probably about a week is fair because he didn't have training camp or anything. But he's practicing, he's shooting, he's working out, he's running on the treadmill. So I would say probably a week or so.
So what's up with the knees? Is it plural? Is it both of them? Is it one? What's the skinny on it?
It's one. It's not good. It's not good at all. But but he's rehabbed it, and it's the best he's felt in the last 2 years. So we'll see how long that lasts.
Well, that's interesting. Your answer was it's not good. I mean, that's not necessarily a validation of with flying colors there.
Well, it hasn't been good for a few years.
Right.
That doesn't mean. I mean, even last year he had 30-point games on it, but it actually feels better now. So the reality is, if you look at it, it's just not good. But that doesn't mean you can't play on it.
This is Nico Harrison with us, the general manager for the Dallas Mavericks, and certainly fun to visit with him here at the 20-game point. With respect to Christian Wood, very intriguing player, intriguing acquisition in the offseason. It does feel like there's a push and pull type relationship between him and what the team needs from him. Where are we in that, and do you foresee ramping up his responsibilities and his minutes and his role, or are you guys comfortable with kind of where he is?
Yeah, so one, I think his role on the team is awesome. I think him coming off the bench, giving us a spark, scoring at a high level off the bench, super efficient. I think that's just what we need. I think minutes will come. As the games he's really rolling, he's going to get more minutes naturally. The games that he's not, maybe he doesn't get as much, but he's still going to get his minutes, if you will. And I love the role that he's playing for us, and I think it's going to continue. And like I said, there's going to be games where it increases. There's going to be games where it stays the same. It's not going to diminish, though.
So everybody wants to know when Jaden Hardy is going to end up with the big club on a semi-permanent basis at the very least, or at least just get some playing time. Is that all now with Kemba coming up here? Is that timetable kind of set back a little bit further?
No, we're gonna get Jaden some minutes here. I would say probably over the next week we'll get him some minutes. I don't know if you guys paid attention to what he's done in the G League. He's torn it up. The thing is that even if you look at our roster, it's like our goal is to bring him along at the best rate for his success. He's good enough that he's going to have. If you put him in some games, he might even have really good games. But we want to get him to a point where he can do that consistently, game in and game out. And you can't bypass time, learning how to play, learning when to play. Knowing that, hey, if I'm playing with Luka, probably a step back three might not be my best shot just coming off the bench. And so it's just understanding the game and the flow and when it's go time.
I apologize for interrupting you there for a moment. As you mentioned, the roster and kind of its makeup and even to an extent what you inherited, do you feel like the roster in any way is difficult to maneuver around at this point? Do you guys feel like, I don't want to say stuck. That's a rough word for a team that was in the Final Four last year. But do you feel like there's some flexibility on your roster to do things when the opportunity arises? Or
yes.
Okay,
I really do. I just the one thing, part of my job is to not panic, not be naive, but also not panic. When you haven't won as many games as you would like to at this point. But you still have players that are capable of winning those games. You probably don't even ask me that question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if we win the games we're supposed to, those bad losses, like the second night of Denver on a home and home, like against none of their stars, like that. That's not a roster construction thing. That's just a bad loss. Losing in Orlando, losing back-to-back at Washington. Those are just bad losses. You win those games, we're probably not even having this those questions being asked.
When you look at the roster as it's constructed right now, do you see that the Robin to Luka's Batman is on the roster right now, or is that something that you need to work to find, whether it's this trade deadline or this off season as you look big picture?
No, that's a good question. I don't want to say that we don't have the Robin to Luka's Batman, because that's a little disrespectful to the other guys on the team, but we don't have that that bona fide all-star to go along with Luka, and obviously that getting that would be helpful. That's my way of answering it without trying to throw the team under the bus.
No, that's cool. So, hindsight's 20/20. Is there anything, and you were kind of, thrown into this late in the game, but is there anything you would have done different from the time you got to Dallas concerning Jalen Brunson and the way that was handled and, the finality of him leaving?
I think we handled it right. I mean, he obviously made a decision to go play in New York, and that's the beauty of the sports and being a free agent. He had that ability. He had earned that right to be able to make his own decision. And obviously what he brought to us was amazing and helped us. And you would like to have that production back, but you can't worry about last year. It's really nothing you can do about it. You got to look forward, and I do believe that we have capable pieces to build around a good team.
Aside, Nico, from the basic hit more shots idea, which is always a great part of a game plan, is hit more shots. I agree. What do we got to do to start getting some road wins? Because I'm positive that's got to be top of mind with everybody in the organization right now, including probably starting tonight.
Yeah, you know what? We just need to really, every time we step out on the floor, play like we're playing against the Warriors. I think it's as simple as that. Like, we just need to respect our opponents. We need to come out and play like we're playing against the Warriors or Phoenix Suns. If we do that, we're going to get road wins.
So you've been involved in the sport for a long, long time, and you've seen a lot of greatness come down the pike. And it's we've seen every single one of Luka's games, and I don't want to say that we take them for granted because they're all. I mean, like the other night was just amazing. Do you ever pinch yourself though? And I mean, we're talking about the construct of the team and where it's headed and all that, but in the end, you have one of the best 2-3 players on the planet that holds a basketball. Do you ever pinch yourself and you're like, I'm in a pretty good spot just because of him?
No, that's true. I mean, he's an amazing player. He's still 23 years old, so he's going to get better, and that's kind of scary. But it's also it's great. It's a great problem to have, to figure out the puzzle and the pieces that actually will go best around him and not diminish him.
Nico, great stuff. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to visiting with you down the road just a little bit, and best of luck tonight.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Bye, Nico.
That's Mavericks general manager Nico Harrison here on the Hardline.
A little disconcerting. The Kemba.
Yeah.
It's bad.
His knees are shot, guys.
It's really bad, guys.
His knee is trash.
I don't know if I've ever heard a guy say that in his position. I'm like, wait, are you past tensing it? Is this present?
Well, you
got to respect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and it's that weird thing, like, guys, he wasn't on a roster after Thanksgiving. That's not a great
shot
sign.
in the dark,
Yeah.
so we'll see.
Yeah. He only had to beat what we currently have.
Right.
And here we go. We're taking a shot.